Earth is at a precipice. So we have gotten to this point because of fossil fuel emissions caused by human activities that have increased CO2 emissions. We all know climate change will transform the way we live, causing water shortages and making it harder to produce food. Some regions will become dangerously hot and others uninhabited because of rising sea levels, extreme weather events like the heat waves we're experiencing today. But we all have to adapt to this. So the past decade has been the warmest on record, and governments have agreed for urgent collective action in this regard. COP26 is a critical summit for global climate action. It is important as critical issues that affect the way we earn, live, and even eat will be discussed and decisions taken. So we need to be there to negotiate and try to influence these decisions as they will positively affect our country and people, even as we join in global efforts to keep the temperatures down. The overarching aim for Glasgow Summit is to keep 1.5 degrees alive. The agenda items for discussion at COP that are of immediate importance to Nigeria include mobilizing of finance. We require the developing countries to honor their word given back in 2009 of mobilizing $100 billion a year by 2020 to support climate action in developing countries. Recent announcements, including President Joe Biden's pledge to double U.S. climate change finance, have brought developed countries closer to honoring this pledge. However, we need more to be done to restore credibility and strengthen trust between developing countries and developed nations. Considering that Africa is at the receiving end of climate change, the impacts, our focus will be to strengthen our ability to adapt to climate change impacts. Also, another element for discussions at COP26 is the question of how to deal with economic and non-economic harms caused by climate change impacts, which cannot be avoided through adaptation or mitigation. This area of discourse under the thematic areas of climate change is known as the loss and damage. We look forward to firming up increased finance for adaptation. We also look forward to progress in the operationalization of the Paris Agreement's global goal on adaptation. Nigeria at COP will be having a pavilion to primarily showcase our climate action and green efforts. We'll also intend to attract investors and engage and learn, especially on innovative ways to meet up with international standards towards move towards a low-emission economic development pathway. Nigeria is actually more of a gas country than an oil country. We have requested consideration for financing projects using transition fuels such as gas. We do have energy challenges for which we believe gas can be used to balance a renewable energy system, be it wind or sun. This would enable us launch the long-term renewable energy infrastructure procurements and investments that we need to have a sustainable. A 2050 long-term vision for Nigeria has been developed. We expect this vision to lay a solid foundation for us to pursue a low-carbon economy and climate-resilient society with knowledge-driven economy that is globally competitive and compliant with Africa's Agenda 2063. We also expect this vision to move us towards having a net zero emission in the second half of the century across all sectors of development in a gender-responsive manner. We agree that the net zero ambition can lead to economic transformation across all sectors. It is a good ambition. However, it requires critical infrastructure being put in place, including the infrastructure for renewable energy. For developing countries, however, due to national circumstances, our fragile economies, competing developmental priorities, we may have to get to net zero at our own pace. Then for Nigeria, what we are taking to COP would be our revised national policy on climate change, which was approved by the Federal Executive Council in June of 2021. This will enable us implement mitigation measures and also strengthen adaptation towards a sustainable climate resilient development pathway in Nigeria. Then also Nigeria has developed an adaptation communication document, which would highlight our adaptation activities and play a central role in identifying national needs and enabling international follow-up. While also informing future action, this will drive ambition and it will contribute information for the global stocktake as mandated by the Paris Agreement. Nigeria also adopted a Gender Action Plan in COP23 at Bonn in 2017. Nigeria has approved a National Action Plan on Gender and Climate Change. This document incorporates priority areas of the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan and nationally determined contributions. Also, the implementation strategy for this National Action Plan has been developed. Nigeria also established a National Youth Innovation Hub and developed a youth manual. This is for harnessing climate innovation ideas from young Nigerians, as well as include our youth in decision-making processes as part of our overall climate change